You know what I'm saying? Happy Wednesday night to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Happy Wednesday. What this shit at? You know what I'm saying? Happy Wednesday night to my niggas, man. We had this Wednesday evening, man. It's a different feeling, man, to be in the evening of the new day. You feel me about the so you look here at Teotihuacan, when we seen earlier that pyramid structure, what they call Orion's belt, right? Now, when you look at that structure, Teotihuacan, the way that the pyramid of the moon, sun, and the serpent is aligned, just like that belt line, just like the pyramid Giza, and you know what I'm saying, right? But when you look at the scriptures, Nimrod, what I was saying earlier, I don't want to confuse nobody. When I was saying earlier about the Cushite, I'm trying to explain, right, about Cushite and Nimrod took on the title of the mighty hunter. You know what I'm saying? Being because during his day he became known for, you know what I'm saying, his killings, his whatever, you know what I'm saying, being a mighty valiant ass nigga, just like this motherfucking Constellation, right? So when you look at First Chronicles, the 7th chapter, and it talks about the sons of Issachar, and it mentions Tula, and that they were valiant men and mighty men, right? So when you look at this, and then you look at the Olmec, right, and you look at the wearing of the helmets, the military helmets, right, the war helmets, the war bonnets. Then they got a thing called the Temple of the Warriors. That motherfucker called the Temple of the Warriors. You know, like the Golden State Warriors. These niggas got a temple dedicated to warriors, because we got to understand, when people buried themselves in the land here of America, the kings wanted to die, not just no regular ass suck ass niggas. When we look at talking about the Grand Canyon and these different kings, we talking about anybody that was big time. Like, you had to be larger than life to get buried out here in these lands. Like, you know what I'm saying, to die, you know what I'm saying, in these lands. You put all your shit, you would have all your shit in dying with you in your shit. So you wanted, you know what I'm saying, warriors guarding the temples, because they was plush. You feel me? So you always had to have, in this land, an armory coast. Ports, always, you need, you know what I'm saying, you gotta be strapped up on the port. That's the money, that's the currency flow, that's the currency center. You know what I'm saying? That's where the exchange is happening. You know what I'm saying? The import, export, and then you got the trade, inland, whatever, happening. So we look at the Midwest and the different trades, and the use of and the manipulation of those that lived in regions, right, where they didn't have agriculture. They was above the tropics. Niggas used to hustle them all the time. Like, in ancient times, they'll tell you, if you ask the elders, they'll tell you how they used to take advantage of the nomadic ones, selling them fake furs, all kind of shit, right? I heard many, you know what I'm saying, many stories about granddaddies and shit, right? They was tricksters, they was jokesters. They used to play, you know what I'm saying, because they looked at them as being wicked, and they was gonna die out there without no knowledge, and they were just born. That's just how they looked at them. You know what I'm saying? That's how, you know what I'm saying, my family, my bloodline, that's how they taught us. But when you look at this significance of these lands, and we look at the Midwest, the plains, these regions, and the marketplace, they used to set up TPs, market exchange. Niggas was out there hustling in them TPs, in them tabernacles. You feel me? Taking advantage of the unlearned. Taking advantage. That's always been the hustle, is taking advantage of the unlearned, of the ignorant. You know what I'm saying? When you know what I'm saying, when you mean, it's only in sports do you want to play the best or challenge the best. You know what I'm saying? That's only in athletics and gaming. You know what I'm saying? When you going out there hunting, you want to hunt the best. But when we talking about, you take advantage of the ignorant, the dumb, the heathen. So, being that they didn't form calendars, didn't form different things, their culture, their civilizations, their teachings, right, were predicated on things that involved the lunar. So this is why lunatics, why terms became associated with certain people, right? When you call someone a Looney Tune, right, or a lunatic, you have to understand why you calling them a lunatic, right? And the significance of the phonetics of the lunar. Hear what they say: turn the emperor, clean terracotta army, a statue. So yeah, and it's probably on the coast too. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what you always want to have. You always want to have your fronts guarded, your coast guarded. That's why niggas was so bad at the Tribe of Dead, because the niggas sold out. They was out there on the coast. Them niggas started eating, and niggas started getting money, and then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, once you can lose yourself, right? You can take advantage of the universal laws, right? And quantum physics and all that shit, right? And start profiting off of the profits, right? And then get disconnected with the source, because I mean, this is what you could do, right? So anyways, California, the bear, the Ursa, we talking about these signs and symbols and hearing, observation, Shema, to hear, observe. Hearing doesn't always mean listening with your ears. You know what I'm saying? The Most High said in Ezekiel, the 20th chapter, that we was going to go away from the Sabbath because we wasn't going to pay attention to the signs no more. You know what I'm saying? That he gave us the Sabbath to be a sign, an indication. You know what I'm saying? So anything that gives direction and guidance has been demonized, in the sense to where it has been placed as a god, to where when we read things in a Christianized mind, we can't even read the material of the ancients, because we reading in the colonized mind frame. And so we can't unbias our bias when reading anything that's ancient, because we reading it already assuming through a colonized, Christianized mind. You know what I'm saying? Circadian rhythm as well. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? When you look at, we're talking about earlier, you know what I'm saying, the significance of, like they used to say, different hours, right, of the night was witching hours, right? When you look at certain coordinates, especially those that's in the Mississippi Valley, you know what I'm saying, in the Caribbean, you know what I'm saying, for me it's 9 p.m., but for y'all that's midnight, right? You feel me? That's when the sun is at the midpoint, 180 degrees on the other side. So these different things in the rhythm, you know what I'm saying, and the connection, we talking about circadian rhythm and the prayers and the singing and worshiping, you know what I'm saying, to the sunrise all night, you know what I'm saying, in the veil, behind the darkness, is how we be until the sun rises. And so that's why calculation and observation here, when we look at these constellations and star systems, right, that they did, you know what I'm saying? I can't see this shit. Hold on. So you see here the Polaris. You look at the Pole Star. Now, when you look at Ursa Major, the bear, and these different constellations, you can see how it don't necessarily have to be a bear. But why did they make it a bear? You have to understand hibernation, timing, and what takes place within the earth when these signs are taking place. Fall hibernation, when you look at the Leo in this particular time going into August, right, into September, when you look at Sudupu, the West, Septum Ra, many different ways when you look at approaching the cross into this particular time, you look at Amuru and the serpents, Ophius, and we look at ophthalmology, which is talking about the eyes, right? All of these things, these signs, and these different things take place within the earth, right? Certain things take place. Animals develop start to get ready for their winter coats, their white coats, right? For the winter, you know what I'm saying? The bear goes into hibernation. You know what I mean? So different things. When you look at these signs. Alright. I'm so high, but I gotta forget. I don't know. But we was looking at this earlier, right? The mouth of death. Mut and Moon and Lemuria, and the bridge between death into life. We understand the sun sets. This is the death of the sun while it's rising, you know what I'm saying, where we talk about the rebirth. You know what I'm saying? So this is how we taught creation and pornography at the same time. You could teach your son about losing his sons and rebirthing his sons at the same time. You feel me? Like the universe teaches us everything in its symbolisms, right? In metaphors, and those that do music talents or do art or different things, they metaphorically tap into them things and make you visualize that, or make you hear or see that. You can hear something and someone could paint a whole picture. They took you on a whole vision, on a whole trip. You feel like you from their hood. You ain't never been there before. And you be like, damn, you start throwing they shit up because they didn't paint it, they didn't put you in the field with them. You feel me? The scenery. They didn't put you in it. You know what I'm saying? Whether they have the instruments, the sounds, the illusions they create to go along with it. You know what I'm saying? All of these things, right? Metaphorically speak something. Metaphorically tell something. So when you look at the structure of these celestial bodies and our earth bodies, and we were talking earlier about circadian rhythm, and you know what I'm saying, why prayer at certain times and certain disciplines teach prayer mandatory at certain times a day. You know what I'm saying? It's like we talk about this rhythm. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm very ritual. You know what I'm saying? Being an athlete, everything has been ritual, routine, muscle memory. You know what I'm saying? Repetition is the best way to learn. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at these things happen annually, over and over and over and over again, every day. This is what happens. She swallows the sun every day. And you can see the path of the soul was what they began the migration after. So when you look at Phoenicians and phonetics, right? We're talking about Phoenicians, hooked on phonics, hooked on Phoenix ass niggas. You know? And sound waves and the projection of sound and the guidance of the waters and the different channels, not the music channels, not the TV channel, But if you was listening and hearkening, you was tapped in the right channel, and you was had to, you know what I'm saying, had your shit up and was letting the wind blow you to, you know what I'm saying? No, you see what I'm saying? Like, the shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, one picture teach you 50,000 things. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy. But now all of these things, all of these functionalities of a day have been deified, you know what I'm saying, to become gods. So now when niggas try to learn these things, they're like, no, I'm not going to read what this shit is because it's talking about, it's a progression, nigga, it's a procession. It's showing you the movement. It's showing you the phonetics. It's showing you the balance, the measures, the metrics. You know what I'm saying? A death in life, and the afterlife, and the rebirth, and the being in tomorrow, and the chaos and the darkness is why we get this 144-degree window to observe the night, to make calculations, to make predictions on them suckers on the other side. You know what I'm saying? They live in Wednesday. We in Wednesday night already. You know what I'm saying? We in the future past on niggas, bro. You feel me? Yeah. We in the future past on niggas.